Today, Tori, Haley, and I are going to be talking about some of the technologies that we've discussed in class and some of our opinions revolving these new technologies. So, sitting in class this week, we've been discussing a whole bunch of different technologies, but the two that stood out to me the most were CRISPR and 3D printing. As far as CRISPR goes, replacing DNA and changing what kind of person we are genetically is kind of over my head. But being an engineering major, 3D printing is a lot more relatable to me. Last semester, I used it a lot. I was in a class that we had to design a lot of things on the computer. So being able to 3D print something that we were designing was very helpful in the design process. Um, as far as 3D printing goes, we went over how we're able to print all of these things. I mean, we're able to print entire houses at this point with 3D printing. Um, But last semester we had a speaker, and what stood out to me during that presentation is what we're trying to do on the medical side of 3D printing. I really think the future is um, for 3D printing is the medical side of it. Being able to 3D print organs, it will be very beneficial for us. So, like I said, 3D printing is an awesome technology, and it's only going to get better and better every day. Um, but like I said, I think the future with 3D printing is on the medical side of it. So,
The topic that we discussed in class that grabbed my attention the most would be the GMOs. When we began discussing this topic, I truly did not understand exactly how many things that we today were able to genetically modify to fit our growing needs. We began our discussion with the fact that with today's technology, we are now able to genetically modify organisms enough yet not having a single negative effect on the human body. The first commercial GMO that was sold was a tomato named the Flavor Saver tomato. Surprisingly enough, I have heard and eaten this vegetable countless of times and I have felt fine afterwards. My family truly supports the ideas of GMOs and they also just taste so great. However, this isn't the most surprising aspect to me. The most surprising part for me is how they are able to genetically modify animals now. Like, how in the world are they able to do that? It just doesn't even make sense. As Will said, they are now able to 3D print houses, but now we're able to create and form our own animal. The topic is just beyond strange to me. It is said that GMO animals or genetic chimeras are animals that are modified to aid, but I believe that they are now beginning to have a little too much fun with the power and freedom that they are given. Like a glowing bunny, for example. Like, seriously? I don't even understand what you would need that for. It is awesome, don't get me wrong, but I just don't believe that's really necessary. But I guess for someone out there, it is.
I completely agree with what Will and Haley had to say about our class discussion this past week about today's technology. But for me, the most strange and out of this world idea is the idea of robotics and cyborgs. As we stated in class, over the past 50 years, the DNA industry has skyrocketed and we have began to combine our ideas of DNA and discovery and genetically modifying organisms into robotics and technology. The idea of robotics and how they are now able to help the medical field and be able to maybe one day help the illnesses such as Alzheimer's, as we stated in class, would just change the world as we know it and change the lives of millions. Personally, I believe that this is the greatest idea that we discussed in class this far this year, and that if we were able to change the lives of millions, it would be the greatest thing for humanity. As we stated in class, these people that support this idea, such as I, are called transhumanists, and we believe that if we are able, we should be able to change the basics of human daily life. Also, with this said, cyborgs are another topic that we discussed in class. Cyborgs are a combination of a human and a machine. The machine mechanism of the organism allows for the daily life of a human to be possible. The range of cyborgs ranges from small things such as cochlear implants to genetically modifying and implanting parts into a machine. I believe that this is a completely out of this world concept, but it will be and should be the greatest innovation into technology as we know it today. The world that we live in today would not be the place that it is without the technologies that we've discussed in this video. Thanks to this class that we are now able to understand some of these concepts in greater detail, and I'm glad that we finally get to share these ideas with our friends, and maybe one day we'll be able to change the world in a positive way.